What's up, crypto gang? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our cryptocurrency education. And if you guys are brand new here, we do a quick little giveaway at the beginning of every single episode. And today's winner is Macho Nachos. Great username. Thanks so much for commenting on the previous video. If you guys want to win on the next one, like this video, subscribe, and comment something about the topic of the video. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about Solana. On the channel in the past, I've talked a lot about proof of stake, proof of work, all these different types of consensus algorithms out there. And this is actually pioneering a new type of blockchain that's using something called proof of history. As a quick disclaimer, I've partnered with Solana to do this educational video to boil things down in the most simplistic way possible. So technically this video is sponsored. I'm a big fan of what they're doing because they are pioneering this concept of proof of history. A lot of you guys watching this have been around since my mining days in 2018 and 2017, and you've also been around for my staking days with masternodes and proof of stake. But this Solana project has a really interesting new concept. So in a nutshell, Solana was founded in 2017. They raised $20 million from multi-coin capital, and they are pioneering a concept called proof of history. Now, this is addressing things like scalability, it's addressing things that are around security, and it is really an impressive concept because it's what happens before consensus. I wanted to run through a quick example of what proof of history is. So imagine you're on an island and a bottle floats up with a thumb drive inside of it. On that thumb drive is basically the Solana proof of history ledger as a whole. So using the proof of history ledger, you can compute the state of all the nodes across the entire network. Using that example where the flash drive floats up onto the island, I immediately have a picture of the entire network. Now that reduces massive amounts of messaging overhead for me as someone that is involved in the network, and I can do massive throughput at that point because I've reduced so much overhead, and I can do 50,000 transactions per second. That's right. A lot of the things I've covered on the channel in the past have done 1,000, 10,000, things like that. But with this proof of history architecture, me getting that flash drive and having an immediate picture of everything, we've reduced the amount of overhead. You don't need sidechains, you don't need multi-chains, different partitions, you don't need sharding. And the problem when you're running into these scalability issues is that it throws off the game theory altogether. You're having difficulties with aligning the different network participation and collaboration with the different nodes. So it really throws things out of whack when you don't have that scalability piece here. So this innovation with the proof of history concept is really powerful to align the game theory incentives within the network. Economic models and incentives here are quite interesting. By removing the throughput bottleneck that we talked about before, basically, you're able to add the hardware layer for Solana, and that creates a transaction fee marketplace based on the hardware costs. So it's almost like the cost of labor in a way. Example here for low transactions is $10 for 1 million transactions. And this can drastically improve the user experience for dApps built on top of Solana. And additionally, it just helps out with the unit economics of the entire network. What we're seeing right now in June 2020 is the gas fees for Ethereum are skyrocketing. So people are looking for other solutions out there, and something like this, where you have a low volatile fee structure for the economic incentives for people that are staking and helping support the network, this can be really compelling to people to get involved in the game theory around Solana. I want to jump onto the website and show you the 8 core innovations that lets you focus on scaling businesses when you're using Solana. So if you're building out a dApp, there's no sharding required, there's none of that. You can literally get started really easily by building out on these 8 core innovations. So I want to jump onto the website, show you guys that, and then I want to show you a quick video on the proof of history from a tech perspective. They do a much better job of explaining exactly how it works from a tech perspective. For all of my developer viewers out there, you can get a chance to see from their perspective, the developers that have built it, what they are trying to convey with proof of history. So without further ado, let's dive onto the website, go over the 8 core innovations real quick, and then go into the overview video of proof of history. All right, so right on their homepage, you can see 59,000 transactions a second, 400 millisecond block times, and per transaction, you're dealing in 0.00001 per transaction. And over 50 validators. When I talked to the team recently, they said that there were closer to 100, if not more than that at this point. But like I said before, I want to go over the 8 core innovations that Solana is working on, just to give you guys a full picture of what's going on. First, proof of history, like we've talked about, is a clock before consensus. Once again, removing that messaging overhead and drastically increasing the scalability and the throughput. C level is the world's first parallel smart contracts runtime. Tower BFT, a proof of history optimized version of PBFT. Pipeline, the transaction processing unit for validation. Turbine, a block propagation protocol. Cloudbreak, horizontally scaled accounts database. Gulfstream, mempool-less transaction forwarding protocol. And Archives, a distributed ledger storage. The 2 core innovations that I really wanted to emphasize here were, of course, the proof of history and the Tower Byzantine fault tolerance. It's based on the proof of stake protocol, hence the validators that you can start up your own node here and become part of the network. In addition to the proof of history and the Tower Byzantine fault tolerance aspect to the core innovations, of course, I could not go without mentioning becoming a validator. Being on the network and participating, securing the ledger, earning the Solana tokens here, participate in the network by providing computing resources to validate transactions or storage for ledger redundancy. Now, I am always a permabull on staking and validation of networks because I feel like it is an incredible way to earn not only passive income, but you can really help support the governance of something like a blockchain. And very similarly to videos I've done in the past on DPoS networks, as well as POS networks, delegated proof of stake and proof of stake networks, I feel that this proof of history concept is a really, really powerful thing to get involved in on the ground floor. So I'm definitely going to be researching a lot more on the different rewards here and also becoming a validator to get some of these Solana tokens. Without validators, the Solana cluster cannot exist. Help maintain the integrity of the ledger and earn rewards while doing so. So I love the idea of participating in networks like this, especially because it's such a low cost to get started. You literally can just start staking and getting your rewards. So stakers are rewarded for helping validate the ledger. They do this by delegating their stakes to validator nodes. So you just got to set up your validator node and start staking. I will be leaving a link to this in the description below, the forum as well, so you guys can read more about this and start running a node. I'm, of course, always bullish on these nodes. I love them. Because it is just an all-around great use of game theory. It's a great segue from the game theory concept of the validators into the actual token itself. So built on a rock-solid foundation for Web 3.0 using that proof of history concept, Coinbase for custody, Trust Wallet, Ledger, CoinList, Binance, Hummingbot for liquidity, Binance for an exchange. It is listed on Binance, the biggest exchange out there. So the last thing I wanted to show you guys was Solana Beach. So SolanaBeach.io is basically the block explorer showing everything that's going on for their transactions per second. Total transaction of almost 1 billion transactions. You can see all the validator nodes, their stake. You can see when they did the last vote, the cumulative stake, and the fees. So you can see all these different nodes set up here. I love this interface. I love the dark interface. And you can see the map of how distributed all of these are all across the world. Market cap, the price, and the amount that is staked. So really, really cool block explorer here. You can see when the last block was finalized. You can see the next people in line, and you can see how distributed it is all across. So that is it for diving into Solana Beach as well as the website to go over the core innovations. I want to show you a quick video on the proof of history from a tech perspective.
Proof of history enables the blockchain to work fast while maintaining security and decentralization. Here's an analogy. If snapshots of dye diffusion were scrambled, you would know how to place the resulting images in order again because of the laws of entropy as a function of time. Proof of history uses a recursive verifiable delay function to hash incoming events and transactions. Every event has a unique hash and count along this data structure as a function of real time. This information tells us what event had to come before another, almost like a cryptographic timestamp, giving us a verifiable ordering of events as a function of time. Each node gets a cryptographic clock that helps the network agree on time and ordering of events without having to wait to hear from other nodes. Unlike slower, traditional blockchains, oftentimes throttled by various consensus mechanisms, Solana achieves high throughput without sacrificing network security. Visit Solana.com to learn more.
So that is it for my overview of Solana. I'm super excited about this project because they are solving a big portion of the scalability issues here. And this is kind of a shout out to all of the maximalists out there. When you think about Bitcoin and you think about one project only, you're missing the point here. Working with companies like Solana, you're able to see that these innovations are going to revolutionize and change blockchain forever. When you look at something that is removing that messaging overhead, allowing for 50,000 transactions a second and more than that, allowing dApps to come on simply and use this application is a very, very powerful component here. That something like a maximalist that only believes in one asset that is Bitcoin, you're missing the point. This type of thing can be used in the many, many years into the future for all different types of concepts. This proof of history thing is a breakthrough in my opinion. So to all you maximalists out there that are watching this video, definitely check out the links in the description below so you get a chance to see what proof of history is, why that innovation is important for blockchain in general. And that is it for this video. Slap a like if you like it. It really helps the algorithm. Definitely check out all the links in the description below. Show them some love on social media. And I will see you guys on the next episode of Hack Crypto.